The O4 Vengeance, a true powerhouse in terms of weaponry, high jump range, cargo, mobility, and so much more. It's my jack-of-all-trades spaceship with a small yet super efficient design for max crew size, all essential haps and beds included, for which I've received a lot of love from you guys, so thank you. I also received a lot of questions, as well as video suggestions related to this build, which I'd love to answer all together with today's video. How to build the O4 Vengeance from scratch, including a very budget-friendly solution to make this a 30,000 credit build with visually the real deal suited for any playstyle. In this guide, I'll show you amazing spaceships to hunt for to use as base or to start from scratch, the 30k budget build, paint job, and the maximum performance upgrades. This video will basically have it all, so let's get building. It took me a lot of time to find a fast yet budget-friendly solution to building the O4 Vengeance. So once again, it would mean the world to me if you can take 1 second of your time to hit that like button. You have no idea how much you help out the channel by doing so. Again, if you have any questions or video suggestions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments either. I am always happy to help both on the comment section and in our Discord server, which you can find in the description. This build also comes with requirements. The higher your character level, the better the spaceship will perform, but you also need to have a piloting of rank 4, so you'll be able to pilot and also, of course, steal Class C spaceships. I've got a short yet super efficient guide for that in the top right of the screen, while you're also gonna need Starship Design rank 4 if you want to unlock the best spaceship parts in the game. This is not yet essential if you are still on a lower level, while the higher level you become, the more Starship Design requirement ranks you're gonna need, so definitely recommend it. This build is based on my character level 42, while you can definitely build it on lower levels. Again, it's just gonna be a little bit less efficient. Alright, so let's begin with the budget-friendly version of this build. The base of the design, which is going to cost you little over 30,000 credits if you salvage a current spaceship as base design. Not only will you get your hands on the spaceship you need right here, but this one will give you access to a whole lot of different spaceships, including Class C, top tier spaceships like the UC Vista. So what you want to do is travel to the planet called Hawking 4A. Even though it's a barren planet without any fauna or flora on it, it actually comes with a lot of activity in terms of ship spawns. Every planet has a different spawn pool, while Hawking 4A has a pretty large one, including the Ecliptic Cutlass, Varun Giants, and even the UC Vista, a high-value top-tier giant battleship, if you will, which you definitely want to get your hands on. I've already made plenty of guides if you want to deep dive into manipulating ship spawns, but let me quickly explain how it works. So you basically select a random position on the planet. If you travel to it with the right save settings, you will have an autosave in place after you've done that. Then you're gonna wait a couple seconds for a bang to pop up in the skies. That means a ship is spawning in. If that didn't happen, just travel back to the space map, re-land on the planet, and make sure you have this cutscene. Rinse and repeat this process until you have bangs in the sky. When that happens, you can manipulate the ship spawn. Now every time when you reload that autosave, the ship spawn will be randomized. As I already said, Hawking 4A is an amazing place to find some high-value spaceships. Shortly after securing an Ecliptic Cutlass, I also got my hands on a UC Vista, and 4 resets later, I found another Ecliptic Cutlass, a smaller Crimson Fleet vessel, the Freestar whatever, and also the Crimson Fleet Wraith, which we're gonna use for this build as, in my opinion, it's one of the more common spaceships, which you can not only find on the ground, but also during space combat. And if you are lazy and have all the money to blow, you can even purchase it at the Key in Crix or the Crimson Fleet headquarters. Long story short, you can use pretty much any spaceship you come across as base for the O4 Vengeance. The higher the value, the better the components. Honestly though, I wouldn't salvage extremely valuable spaceships like the UC Vista for this one, as we're gonna strip it down to the bone. Because the Crimson Fleet Wraith is quite common and has a lot of similar both structural and essential parts, it's an awesome one for this project. If we quickly have a look at different spaceships, which we found on previous videos, right here you can see plenty of those Stroud Atlant parts, mount engine right there, the same shield system, and of course a lot of big boy guns. A Reactor C, The Varun hymn also comes with plenty of these similar Stroud-Eklund parts, so the design can be used as base for the O4 Vengeance as well. Same counts for the cockpit. Ecliptic Cutlass right here with a Nova cowling in the front, which we actually used for our build in the rear. We've got the Atlatl launcher, we've got this weapon mount, UC Vista, also the Nova cowling, the huge cargo space, reactors, etc. While today we're going to use the Crimson Fleet Wraith as base, which doesn't have a level requirement. Now what we want to do is basically get rid of all the structural components. While we want to keep as many essential parts for this build, some which we can recycle, others which are only going to be temporary. So you want to keep that cockpit, get all those guns off there because these are pretty expensive. You don't want to sell them for low values. We've got some helium tanks right here, as well as the shield reactor. Get rid of this Docker top. Also take off all the habs, which we will temporarily use. Get rid of these structural components right here. We also want to take that one off. Take the galleon hold. Some more all-in-one habs. Get rid of these right here. And now we also have the Grav Drive, a pretty poor one performance-wise, same counts with the Flow Reactor, but it's already Type C, as well as some pretty decent Nova engines, which we can all use for the build. We've got Landing Bay, which you could temporarily use, while you also want to get rid of these fellas. And now we also have a nice amount of landing gear. I'm not sure if I deleted some, but we don't need that much. So the first thing you want to do is take out that landing gear and place 3 right next to each other. Then you want to place one on the side, place one right there, take the red one to the other side and place that one off the middle on the very edge as well. Now we can get rid of this one and bam, there you have it, 4 landing gears snapped on the right points. Now you want to take one of those temporary habs, place it right in between those two, and then attach your NG6 landing bay, which you can find in New Atlantis. Get rid of the old one, and now we want to place another living quarters right on top of that. Behind this, you want to place a 1x1 companionway, as this will allow us to get to the next floor, which we're going to need for this build, and place another 2.1 hab on top. We now have 2 more habs left. You know what? I'm going to replace this one with red. I think that looks better. And we're going to attach those accordingly. So we're going to place one exactly like so. And we're going to place the other one like that. So now we have something that looks a little bit like this. In front of that, we're going to place the cockpit. Again, this is temporary, but this will allow us to already place some nice structural parts right here. In other words, the Nova Cowling 2LTF. And we're also going to place a couple of these on the sides. 2LSF. Voila, so that's already a nice beginning of the build. We also have this S204 cargo hold right here, which we're going to place right behind this 2x1 hab. We're going to duplicate this, make another one. The Galleon 204 has the highest cargo space in the game. Well, if you haven't met the requirements yet, you could always go for a 203 or a 202. Anyways, now that we have these in place, we can work on the sides of our spaceship with some temporary structural components, as we won't find all the required structurals on this ship technician. Don't worry, these parts are extremely cheap, so they're not going to make dramatic changes to your budget, while these are required to place those Nova engines. You actually want to reduce the height a little bit more, place them exactly like so. On top of that, we also want to place 2 Nova weapon mounts on each side, which of course allow us to attach the weapons, which we've previously found. You could just put the Atlatl gun right there like I have in my other one. And I don't know, man, just place your weapons accordingly. If you want to have a boarding approach, I recommend you to place 2 Fulminator 8000 suppressors, 2 on each side. Again, with lower character levels come lower level weapons, like the 280B or even 270B. These also have lower values, so these can make a huge difference in your budget. I mean, these guns right here cost 10k each, so definitely expensive choices. Anyways, we can get rid of these habs right now and start placing our reactor and grav drive, which I always do exactly like so. Or well, we could do it the other way around. I think that's going to look a little bit better. So right now we have the flow reactor on the bottom and we have the grav drive right there. We have 2 more engines right now, which we could place exactly like so. So then we don't really have to worry about purchasing even more of those and recycle that shield generator, place it on top. And last but not least, we can also place these helium tanks right there. Voila. Get rid of these, and there we have it. Very close to what the O4 Vengeance looks like. It's still far from finished though, but you have to look through it. With the right structural components, trust me, it's gonna look beautiful. So first we want to focus on structural, place a porthole port on this side, duplicate it, turn it around, place one right here as well, so we have some windows on the sides. On the rear, we also want to place the Nova cowling 1LTF. We also want to place a 100 DP slim docker on the bottom. You can always spin this. It will say bottom or top. There we go. And yeah, the final error right now, the ship has too few landing gears, can be solved by placing 2 of these big boys on the side. I don't like the looks of these, which are also temporary, but as you can see right now, we've finished the build for a little over 12,000 credits. Extremely budget friendly. Right now though, let's move on to the structural parts, make it look the way it should look, and make some dramatic performance improvements. For this, we're gonna first travel to Porrima, as right here you can find my hands down favorite ship's technician in Porrima 3, who can be found in the Red Mile. When you enter this place, you will find the ship services to your right side, and this is where you will find Lon Anderson. And yeah, now we can move on with our Crimson Fleet Wraith. We're gonna upgrade the build. The first thing we want to do is get rid of that cockpit and get the right habs in place. So we're just gonna get rid of every single one of them. Same counts for the companionway. First, I'm gonna place a HopeTech workshop right here. I think these interiors have hands down the best looks in the game. Then place a science lab or infirmary on the other side. To make the center a little bit bigger, I take a Stroud Eklund companionway right in the middle of that and extend that with a Stroud armory, which I think looks really cool and makes cockpit very accessible. To wrap that up, we place the Viking CP100 cockpit with the lowest mass. The more expensive they become, the more mass they have, which decreases the performance of your build. To wrap it up, you also want to place a HopeTech Captain Quarters 2x1 on top, which gives you access to that beautiful bed and resting bonus. Now, of course, we want the build look a little bit better as well, right? So it really gets that O4 Vengeance vibe. I like to get rid of these Pinpoint 4G and instead place the AccuPort landing gear, which you can actually spin around and make this design look pretty slim. So I'm just placing these on both sides. Get rid of this one as well, just replace it with that one. Let's do that again right here, which is only going to cost us a little bit of gold. And after that, you want to move on to structural and search for the Stroud engine mount. Flip it until you find the right side. Voila, there we go. We're going to copy paste that part, place it right here as well. Then add a Stroud cap A in front of that. Flip until it's the right one. Copy paste. There you go. Copy paste that another time. There we go. And that is number 4. Seems like I forgot the HopeTech control station in the bottom, but that is basically what you want it to look like. And yeah, now it's only a matter of duplicating these 2 parts. Place one on this side, place one on that side. We also want to get rid of these bracers right here. Stroud engine bracer A, get rid of this one and place another. And voila! Wow, we've just spent less than 30,000 credits on both ship technicians, so you can definitely tell that this is an extremely budget-friendly design. Of course, if you want to get the most out of it, you're gonna have to make some dramatic changes to the weapon systems, director core and engines, which of course is gonna cost you the most. Trust me when I say that this build will look a lot better with a decent paint job as well. For my color palette, I like to go with black, white and blue, which represents, of course, my channel branding. In general, I think it just looks really nice as well. But for most structural parts, you just want to focus on getting the most black on there, a little bit of white and a hint of blue. So now it's going to become even more difficult to tell the difference between the Crimson Fleet Wraith and my original O4 Vengeance. So yeah, if you made it this far into the video, congratulations! You've built yourself a killer spaceship that not only looks good, but also has amazing stats for less than 30,000 credits, so extremely budget friendly. Right now though, we're gonna make some more cosmetic changes to it and make it so much more powerful. This is where both the sky and your budget are the limit though, so let's get to making it the best spaceship possible. For the first quick modification, you want to travel to Seoul, Titan and visit New Homestead, as the ship technician right here sells a pretty unique set of landing gears. So right now we can get rid of the NG-10 landing gears from Nova Galactic and replace them with the NG-15. You could even go for an NG-20 with an even higher lander thrust, while these on the build are gonna be just fine. For only 2.5k, that brings us even closer to what we want the ship to look like. While for the majority of the modifications and improvements, I still recommend you to stick to the Red Mile, as this place just comes with so many different parts at your disposal, both performance-wise like engines, but also weaponry and equipment to further improve the build. So minor differences in looks right now, while there's still plenty to be done with the performance. So the first things we can do is basically get rid of 2 Nova engines right here and replace them with the Supernovas 2000. These will actually dramatically improve your mobility, while these aren't the best engines in the game. I talked about this earlier, but if you just replace everything with the Sol engines, boy oh boy, you will have a killer spaceship with easily 100 maneuverability. Right now, of course, we still have the Nova 1000s on the side, but yeah, this is what you can have. I still prefer to go with these Nova engines, as they just make the build look so much more beautiful. Right now we can also get rid of this shield generator, replace it with the Assurance SG 1800, which is the hands down best shield generator in the game. And now we could also get rid of the flow reactor with a 20 power, as well as the grav drive right here, because we still have some room underneath that. So you just want to search for the highest thrust possible. This one has 31, we've got 34 and another 34. I think this is the one which I use on my current build, because man, it just looks amazing with the rest of these ship parts. And we're also gonna attach a killer reactor behind it. These generate 18, 24, 30, 20, 27, 34 power. We've got a couple more, but once again, based on your character level, you can improve accordingly. We're also gonna get rid of these helium tanks. I like to replace them with these H30 Atlas Helium 3s. Place one on both sides, while right now we still see a pretty low mobility, and that's because we still have the previous version of this Nova engine. So if we get rid of that, switch that to the Nova engine 1030, you can see that our mobility goes up to 63. If you want to get even more, just change all the engines to Sols to have 100, or of course reduce your cargo size. While I think right now it looks perfect. 159,000 credits later. But yeah, if you have a lot more money to blow, replace the weapon systems with different ones of a higher tier, and bam, there you have it. Over 200,000 credits spent. So do you want to have a lot more cargo space? Then you're gonna have to make sacrifices to your mobility, or maybe upgrade your guns. Your playstyle can heavily impact the price for this project, the build of the 04 Vengeance. Long story short, I already think that this one looks amazing with a little over 30,000 credits, which of course is a downgrade of my current version on level 42. But yeah, again, this build was made by me. No spaceship exists with such looks. 04, short for 4M, and I don't know man, Vengeance just sounded really cool for a spaceship. Ladies and gentlemen, a big thanks for watching and good luck with the build. If you found this video helpful, please do leave a like and share your thoughts about it in the comments down below. If you have more additions, questions or suggestions about it, let us know. Right now though, it's 4am out. I want to wish you an awesome day. I'll see you in the next video or live stream. Take care. Peace.